So welcome to my episode on 10 out of 10 PS5 games. Now these are some games that I think deserve a 10 out of 10 right next to them. Now I have to say this before I begin, there is no official 10 out of 10 list that exists. These are just my personal, humble opinions, games that I've had a really great time with, and I just want to come in and talk about today. But I'll ask you guys, what are some PS5 games that you think deserve a 10 out of 10 right next to them? Let me know, and everybody else down below.
Get in there, you maggots! Great, an independent merc.
Now the first game I'm gonna go with is very, very easy for me. This is the first choice I could think of. I was like, yes, Resident Evil 4 Remake is a 10 out of 10 game for me. And I honestly wanted to make it my game of the year. Tears of the Kingdom just kind of nudged it out a bit, but my God, did I have such a great time with this game. And it is a remake of Resident Evil 4, which originally came out on the GameCube. And I like the GameCube version. I thought it was really a lot of fun back then. I like the horror elements. I like the cultists. I loved it. It all came together for me.
Freeze.
And then, all of a sudden, they announced a remake.
Copy that.
And I enjoyed the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, so I thought, you know what, this is going to be really up my alley. I started to play it, and for some reason, I'd completely forgotten about the original Resident Evil 4, all the gameplay, because I was playing this, it felt like I was playing a brand new game for the very first time. The remade graphics, the textures, the attention to detail, the lighting, everything, the atmosphere, everything came together for me with this, and I had such a great time with it. And in fact, I have such a sad kind of memory with the game now, is that it was the last game that I played with my mom hanging out with me. And my mom came to stay with me for about a week and a half, and she was sitting on the couch, and she's like, what do you want to do? I said, well, I got this game. She's like, well, why don't you put it in? And I put it in, and we were both screaming at certain times with jump scares. And it's a cherished memory for me with the game. But my God, the action, the adventure of the game, the excitement, the jump scares. A game that I thought was going to be very, very good. I didn't know it was going to be a 10 out of 10 good. Now we go back to the beginning of the year, and another game got released, and that was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now I really want to say something here, that I enjoyed the Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first one. I thought it was really, really good, and the expansion as well into Integrate right here. I really enjoyed this game, but I thought it held your hand a little too much and didn't give you enough to explore on your own with a lot of freedom. And that was one of the things that held it back in my mind, but I still enjoyed the game quite a bit. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth gave me every single thing that I wanted in a complete remake of the original game, Final Fantasy VII. It let me off the leash and let me explore the land. And my God, they did such a great job. Yes, there's a lot of mini games in this game. I thought they were a lot of fun. They shook up the gameplay a bit from just the combat that was going on here and there in the exploration. And I was always excited to see the next one that they would throw at me. But I gotta say here, running around the world with my old friends, and we gotta say this at this point, Cloud and Barrett, they're all old friends of ours. We know these guys so well. We've known them for like 27 years at this point, and running around the world exploring on Chocobo and going to old locations like Gold Saucer, seeing that again was like a sight to behold, and hit all the right nostalgia, but did a whole bunch of brand new things. And the combat was exciting and kinetic. Loved it to death, loved the music, loved the storyline right up to the end. And I know the ending's a bit controversial for a few people. I won't say what some of those things are, but I really enjoyed this game quite a bit. It really was the Final Fantasy VII Remake that I always wanted, and it really was fulfilling, and I honestly want to go back and play it again. Now, out of nowhere, Bandai Namco a few years ago announced this game, and that was Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. right here. And I was like so thrilled. I'm like, a return to Armored Core. I can't believe it. I used to play this on the PS1 back in the day and even on the PS2. And so it was like a big nostalgic game for me. And I hadn't played a few of the other ones that have been released over the years. So I was ready to jump into this. And let me say something. I jumped in and I got absolutely annihilated.
Can't say I considered you a pro either.
What happened? And I'm like, John, we have to retrain our minds again to play Armored Core, and you have to upgrade your mechs, you have to get better equipment, and you have to strategize. You have to strategize with the build of your mech. And that's what I did, and I made my mech very much like a Garland from Megazone. I love the colors there. And I kept upgrading all the weapons and stuff like that, and going into the arena and building your mech up. That's the main thing that you need to do. And then when you get to a boss and you die, which happened to me many, many, many times, you need to upgrade and you need to strategize what weapons will work best for this boss. And once I figured that out, I was off to the races. And this is another game that's kind of crazy for me. I played this online. And I had a great amount of fun playing against friends of mine. But the graphics, the speed, the Armored Core building mechanics within the game itself were second to none, and made me a big fan of Armored Core once again. And I think a lot of people came into this game going, oh, From Software, this must be a Souls-like game. No, 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 this is an Armored Core game, and it's very, very different. It has its own set of rules to understand and to learn, and there's a great challenge here. There really is, and you can, play levels over and over again and upgrade. There's a lot of fulfillment here, and, Armored Core 6, when I started playing it, I was like, man, this game's kicking my ass. Then all of a sudden when I started to learn it, I was like, this is a 10 out of 10 game.
I almost pity the poor fools.
Now this next game came out on PS4 originally, and I got about 20 hours into it and I was really liking it. And then, another shiny object caught my attention and I kind of got away from it. And that was Ghost of Tsushima right here. And that was a crying shame. So when the PS5 game came out, I had a bit of time and I'm like, let's play this, let's do this. And this is a game by Sucker Punch Productions, and I jumped into it. You play as Jin, you're protecting your land from the first Mongol invasion, and so that's how the storyline begins. But this is a huge open world game set in Japan, and it's an unbelievable action adventure game. You can ride your horse across the land and just see the beauty of it. Let's just talk about the graphics. This game is the most beautiful game on the PS5. I couldn't believe it. Every leaf, every color, every season, from the rain to the mud, everything in this game was looking so incredible, and especially your main character. So the visuals work incredibly well, the storyline hooks you in, but it is the gameplay. And the gameplay here, man, if anybody just kind of passes this game off, oh, it's just some samurai game, I'm sure it's pretty cool. No, honestly, this game is really unbelievable. And it's because of the gameplay. And there's all these different elements to the gameplay. Like when you're running around, all of a sudden you run into another samurai and you'll have standoffs. And you'll just stand off and you have to pick which action you want to do to best take out your opponent. And you have to do it in a speedy, timely manner. And there's also different stances to use against enemies. You have a bow that you can use. There's different modes in this game that are so incredible, like the Kurosawa mode, where you can turn it from color to black and white to match an old Kurosawa samurai film. I appreciated this. Did I play a lot in the black and white mode? No, but I really loved that that was an option. And whenever I was lost in the game, you can follow the wind. That will lead you to where you're supposed to go next. And that's what I want to say here. That's what I really enjoyed about this game. It was open world, and I just started, and I just went wherever I wanted to go. Sometimes I just wouldn't follow the regular path. I just go off on my own. I just go left. I'm like, I'm just going over here. And I go down forever exploring brand new sections of the country. And it was amazing. And the things to unlock, the different places to find. But yet, here's the bit that I loved. The storyline was always just kind of edging you back to where you should be going with the main storyline. But it was never heavy-handed. So that's what I like to do, the sense of exploration and let you off the leash, let you go wherever you want to go, but slowly would push you back to the main storyline and your main objective. This game is one that I think about quite a bit. I'm always thinking back to it going, God, I had such a good time. You know, like watching the movie at the right time in your life? I played Ghost of Tsushima at the right time in my life. I was just sitting on the couch and I was playing it and I was completely hypnotized into the game. I was no longer on my couch. I was back fighting the Mongols and it was amazing, and just the different stances, the way to take out enemies, second to none. It's an outstanding game, and one that I believe is a higher than a 10 out of 10 game. Now, next up is a game that originally came out on the Nintendo Switch, and I gave it a 10 out of 10 on there. It was my game of the year for 2021. Now it's come to every platform with an enhanced mode, which we're gonna get into, and that is for Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance right here. And this is the definitive version of the game, and this has actually upset quite a lot of fans, and I definitely understand why. Is that originally everybody went out and bought Shin Megami Tensei 5 on the Nintendo Switch, and we thought this was the game, this is the way we were gonna get it. But I always knew there'd be an enhanced version of the game coming out. I knew that Nintendo had some kind of exclusive or something like that with the game for a couple of years, and then it would come out for all consoles, and it eventually did. And so, yes, a lot of people are mad that they have to buy the game again, and I understand that, absolutely. But what we have here is a brand new storyline, new locations, we got new demons, and we have two story paths. We have the brand new one called The Canon of Vengeance. And yes, we go back to a desolate, deserted world full of demons, and the entire point of the game is to recruit demons into your party and to create stronger demons. Then that's where the absolute addiction comes. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is a dark style of Pokemon game, and it's really dark, it's really bleak, and it's really evil and intense, and I love it. I love the darkness of this game. I love the demons in this game. I love the design concept of this game. And here's another thing. I love the music. I love the combat music especially. But me and my wife were both addicted to the Switch version, and we played this version as well, the Vengeance version. I've got to say, the graphics are a big upgrade on PS5. I was just like, look at this, it looks stunning. And especially when you get to a great boss encounter. And there's a lot of those to happen, a lot of great strategy in this game, great storyline, and yes, a rebuilding of the original game to give you the definitive version.
Well now, isn't this a sight to behold?
Now, this next game is very interesting for me because I don't like the original source material that it's based off. I don't hate the source material by any stretch of the imagination, but I never got into it. I never read any of their books. I saw a little bit of the first movie. That was about it for me. And that game is Hogwarts Legacy right here. This is my wife's favorite RPG of all time. And that took me by surprise as well, because she's played a lot of other games, but she really enjoyed the Harry Potter books when she was younger. She really connected to the world. And what she enjoyed the most about this game, and what I enjoyed too, was even if you didn't like the original books or movies, this felt like its own thing. And traveling around the world on a broomstick, using spells and magic and running around the castle were incredible. And the attention to detail, the textures, and the world building here is incredible. And I coming off not knowing anything about Harry Potter, really fell in love with this game, and me and my wife both, I'd sit on the couch and just sit and watch her play it for hours and was really into it, like really into it. I was like, oh, go over there and, you know, take out that enemy, and oh, can we do this and can we do that? And we both enjoyed the game a lot together, and we had a bit of couch co-op with it, and I really started to enjoy the idea of Harry Potter. And I don't think I'll ever go, watch the, the movies or read the books, but I really enjoyed the game, and I think a lot of people passed up on this game, but there's a lot of people that played it that really got something out of this, and it's made me a believer in Harry Potter, and I can't believe that. But don't pass this game up, even if you haven't seen the original Harry Potter movies or anything like that. There's a really great game to be had here. Now, I had to cover the next two games, yes, Elden Ring. When I originally played it on PS5, I could not believe it. I was just like, these guys have knocked it out of the park. And I think the internet will agree that this game is something truly special. And I've talked a lot about world building for a lot of these games, but I gotta say the world building in this is beyond reality. They've really built up a really dark, terrifying world where there's evil around every single corner, ready to kill you. It's really an amazing game in how it's balanced. And that you can jump into the game and you start just go hacking and slashing anybody, you'll be dead and it'll be over and you'll be frustrated. You're like, what happened? You're like, no, you've got to learn the game and you've got to build up your character and you've got to run around the world and explore. And yes, there's a high difficulty to the game, but when you figure out a lot of the design elements of it, a lot of people just sail through this game. And I gotta say that I didn't sail through this game. I had a bit of a challenging time for it, as I normally do with the Souls games. I don't have that programmed brain to truly become a machine with these games like some of my friends. My friend Andrew just absolutely annihilated this game, and he was on the phone with me ranting and raving how much he absolutely loved it. And I was like, Andrew, I fully agree. I love the world, and I think for a lot of people who haven't jumped into the world, has anybody not played this game? Let me know down below. Just from the design and gameplay elements that are incorporated here, second to none. Really amazing game. Elden Ring, 10 out of 10, of course it is.
Brandish the Elden Ring. For all of us.
Now, another 10 out of 10 game for me is a game that was very challenging for me, but very fulfilling. And it was one of the first games on the PS5, and that's a remake of Demon Souls right here. Have any of you guys played this? And this is by Blue Point. They did a remake of a classic game, and man, they did it justice. And this is one of those games when I first put it in my PS5, and I was just looking at it, playing it, running around the world going, oh my god, look at this. This is the power of the PS5. This is one of the first games that really showcased what the PS5 could do, and I was mesmerized. And it was really great to return to the world and to run around and get to some of those boss encounters again and remember some of the difficulty aspects, but some of the rewarding aspects of this game and what made it a true classic. And it's fascinating. When Demon Souls first came out, I remember there was a lot of people, like I'm talking about the original, there's a lot of people online going, this game is amazing. And everybody started to take notice. Everybody's like, really? What's the deal with this game? And it was the first of its kind that was really like that. You know, never mind from the Kingsfield series. But playing it was like, oh my god, this game is challenging, but so rewarding. It was just like rinse, repeat. Like, hey, I'm not going to go up that stairway again the same way I did last time. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. And this is a game that is definitely about learning from your mistakes, but highly rewarding, and definitely one, if you have a PS5, you must pick up. And I've saved one of the best for last, and it had to be there, and that is for God of War Ragnarok. What did you guys think of this game? This game honestly blew me away. Again, we have to talk about world building. All these games in these days are talking about world building, and it shows you how far video games have come. And the open world in this game is amazing. And it's not only about an open world action adventure game, there's a soul to this game, and that's because it's a story about a father and son. It's about a son getting a little bit older, getting a little bit bolder, and about a father trying to rein him in a little bit. And for anybody who has children out there, this story has another element to it with that. It's not just about the action and gameplay, which are unbelievable, and even the puzzles, which I gotta say, I don't like a lot of puzzles in video games. I don't like, a lot of crazy ones. These ones were very fulfilling, and once I solved some of the puzzles, I was like, that's so cool. But besides all of that, it's about the heart and soul of these characters in this game. And it's a beautiful story. Never mind this amazing world you get to run around in and fight these incredible monsters. And yeah, this storyline in this game really had me hooked. And just the exploration, everything about it, all the puzzles, everything came together for me. And I was just like mesmerized. Never mind the graphics. I mean, you can see the graphics that are playing right now were unreal and just blew me away, the textures. And I was like, God of War has really knocked it out of the park once again. It's a flagship title for PlayStation, and it definitely didn't disappoint with this version of the game.
We will make our own destiny.
Guys, those are some games that I humbly think are 10 out of 10 games for me personally. Well, hopefully this video has given you a few recommendations for games that you haven't played yet that you're going to try out in the future. And if you so, leave me a message down below if you're going to try them out. So anyways, guys, until next time.